Hi, I'm Coach Eric Neilsen, and today I'm going to show you how to use the Vasa Ergometer properly to swim faster and more efficiently. For starters, one of the first things you want to make sure you do is set the damper door, which is located up front, on a low setting. We use that for setting the resistance, and it's important when you start with your ergometer training to have a very low resistance so you can have good, proper form. Okay, next, how to get on the bench. Place your hands here, one leg swings up, and just position yourself. If you need to grab the center rail, that's fine. So get yourself set on the bench. Okay, the next thing I like to look at is head position. What am I doing with my head? I want to think about the head and being in a neutral position, maybe eyes shifted slightly forward. But what we want to avoid is the head moving from side to side when we're swimming on the ergometer. Okay, so when the arms are moving, we want to maintain a nice neutral head position. And ideally in swimming, the only time your head moves is when you would turn to the side for your breath. And the head comes back to center. Okay? Head centered. We need to think about what we're going to do with our hands once they go in. Hand entry should be relatively in line with your shoulders, maybe a little bit wider. But we definitely want to avoid coming to center too much because that can cause us to cross our center line. That's a great part of the ergometer here because we have the monorail, and that allows us a great point of reference for anybody that has problems coming into center line. Okay? So hand entry, about shoulder width, maybe a little wider. Everyone's going to be different, predicated on their shoulder range of motion. All right? So neutral head. Now we're swimming, and our hands are running about shoulder width. Next, we need to think about setting our catch. I'm going to demonstrate that with one arm here. So the fingers, we can think about those pointing towards the bottom of the pool if we were swimming. Think about a firm wrist here and the elbow floating up. So that helps us set the catch better. The hand is firm itself but supple, so it can make subtle little changes if needed. So once again, point the fingers to the bottom, firm wrist, elbow floats up. Another way to think about it is you're a puppet and your coach is the puppeteer. And they have a string right here on your elbow. That helps float the elbow up to put the arm in a good position before the power phase. So reviewing again, neutral head, good spacing on the hands, and setting the catch. Now we need to go to the power phase of the stroke. And this is really the key time I like to think about and really engaging my core to really help me set up that power. And that's in the opposite hip. So as I'm set the catch and I go to apply the power, I think about my opposite hip connecting and allowing me to get some power through the pulling stroke. Here we are, engaging that opposite hip. Okay. Lastly, once we've gone through the power phase, the arm's going to finish and then release and relax and come around back up front, and then we would just repeat that process with both arms. Let me show you what it looks like with the paddles. A great pull pattern to use is the alternating arms with the low freestyle recovery. I'll show you that. And then you can progress right back to the full stroke that we showed earlier. So there you have it. Some simple things you can do on the Vasa Ergometer to swim faster and more efficiently. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.